Hi, Heart Shiners, welcome back. We're going to talk about how the internalized narcissistic parent can affect your ability in adulthood to actually really be successful in your life, in your business, in all areas of your world, personal, professional, and so forth. And there's this idea that when we grow up in a family system that's very toxic, and we're specifically talking about a narcissistic parent or more than one, that we end up internalizing that parent. And what that really means to me is just like, we take on the shame, we take on the responsibility even of our own parents' behaviors. It's a response to the trauma. And it can happen and we don't even realize it. So then in adulthood, we can feel all kinds of feelings that really don't make sense and they're unexplained. Maybe we don't trust ourselves. Maybe we're being blocked around moving forward in a business because a part of us thinks that we can't be trusted. Maybe like we're going to harm other people. And I've heard this come up a lot with my clients. And I've even experienced this myself where there's this really weird like fear that somehow I'm going to do something to hurt someone else. Now, this can come from a couple places. It can definitely come from maybe even being in the role of being put in the persecutor role in the drama triangle as a child. Maybe a narcissistic parent might accuse the child of being the source of their pain and problems and suffering, which is a really common thing a narcissistic parent does to a child, is project onto them. And so a child can then feel like, oh, I'm the cause of this pain. And if it weren't for me and all that kind of thing, then my parent wouldn't be suffering. And they take on that responsibility. But it can also come from having maybe witnessed in the family system things going on that weren't right, behaviors that harmed others. And then internalizing that as though somehow, because we're a part of this system, because children feel like they're a part of their parent, and narcissistic parents actually don't have healthy boundaries and don't see their children as separate selves. So they don't encourage their children to develop their own autonomous self. So of course, as adults, we're not going to understand that we're still being like connected to our parents' behaviors and somehow having this internalized fear that we're going to become them. Right? Can you relate to that? Like there's this part of us that thinks, oh my God, I'm going to become like this parent whose behavior was just horrible, and harmed all kinds of people, including me, and created all kinds of damage and destroyed relationships and things in our family. So this is something that happens and I guess what I'm saying to you is that if you're coming up against this feeling of like, I'm worried that I can't trust myself, to maybe be able to help people. This is a common one I hear because I work mostly with coaches, people in transformation, is what if I can't help them? What if I'm not able to help them? Or what if I do something that's going to harm them? And this is a lot of times it can be where it's coming from. It's like, there's no way you're going to harm somebody. Like you're probably one of those people that puts everybody else's needs before your own. And you just don't have that bone in your body. You're super empathetic and you would just die 1,000 deaths if you thought you'd harm someone. Yet you still have this fear. And so the issue is that the reparenting the inner child around these kinds of things is what needs to happen, is that inner child part of you believes somehow I'm going to end up like this, or I'm responsible for this. And so the key is to work with that part of the self around those beliefs, to show up, and whether you're tapping or you're just doing a dialogue or you're visualizing this with your inner child. You could even possibly do this inside a memory itself, is to be able to say to the child part, look, this isn't your responsibility. These people chose to have these behaviors. They're adults and they chose these behaviors, and there's nothing you could have done to stop it. And you never could have, and you can't now. And, or also, this isn't you. this behavior that so-and-so had is not how you are. And you've never treated anyone like that. And you never would, so you have to kind of validate their experiences in the past and then also show them how the present is different. And it takes time, and you have to literally like coach your inner child around this. And then eventually your inner child is going to learn to start trusting you more, maybe able to come into the present with you more and integrate with you and let go of these fears as you start to move forward. It's never a straight line. It's never just like, okay, this issue is resolved, bam, and it's never an issue again. But with the inner child, it's daily work. It's daily checking in, even just for a few minutes, like, hey, how are you doing? I'm here. Is there anything you need from me? That's a super easy way to check in with the inner child. But also being willing to, when resistance comes up, when fear comes up, if you can recognize it in that moment of, oh, okay, this is that fear, then you can pause and you can reparent the inner child literally in that moment. Go straight to that part of yourself and say, okay, I understand why you're feeling afraid. And I'm going to talk to you now about why, this is not what's happening in the current moment, right? So you just do the reparenting in the moment as it comes up. And then over time, your inner child will start to let go of the past, will start to give that responsibility back, will start to trust you more, start to trust the future more, and you'll be able to move forward with a lot less resistance and with more joy and ease in your nervous system and in your body. I hope that was helpful to you today. I would love to see you in either my mastermind or in my Reparenting the Inner Child with EFT on-demand workshop. If you're a transformation professional and you'd like to learn more, I'm going to put a description down below, and you can certainly check that out if you'd like to work with me more in the future. All right, everyone, until next time, may you be at ease and know joy. Bye-bye.